brutes! Fake! Liar! You liar!
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Sunday Night Live, and this is The Zoo. We're going to talk about everything, folks, but I want to start off, and I even named this, Valor, Honor, and SHTF. There is no honor among thieves. There is no valor for these absolute abject traitors. So, Sunday Night Live, you guys run the show, but I'm going to start out with two things. As a Marine, I'm just fucking sick and tired of these people and the shit they're doing and dishonoring the armed services, this great nation, and the wars that the people have fought for freedom and liberty and to help, even though evil bastards in charge of governments everywhere cause problems. Now, that said, Pete Buttigieg, the man who sat in a bed with his husband and the two of them chest feeding their little babies, that is just absolutely disgusting. But he is the Secretary of Transportation. About the only thing he transports is trains into his tunnel. Now, Pete Buttigieg, and that is what President Biden called him, he says that the new Democrat vice presidential nominee, Tim Walz, he said that his stolen valor does not matter because he only did it once, he says. He only did it once. Walz, folks, is lied for decades about it. On the news, on TV, on his Facebook page. Right? He claims that he was a battalion sergeant major. No, and he continues to lie about it. He should be in jail for that. It is a crime. It's a crime to claim for yourself that which you aren't. It's disgusting, but it's going to continue, folks. There is no valor. There is none. There is none. And as far as honor goes, you have a right in America, in the United States of America, you have a right to lie. I could sit here and lie to you all day long. You can't stop me. But who the hell would listen to me if I lied all day long? Right? Yeah, you can't stop someone from lying. Well, except now, these days, they want to call it misinformation, disinformation. It's harmful and dangerous, and then they'll silence you. They're trying to make Kamala Harris look popular. And so they have now used this artificial intelligence to create a crowd to cheer from her inside of a campaign rally arena. But when you zoom in, you see people with extra fucking fingers on their hands. Their faces are smeared. They look like Slog from the Goonies with one eye here and one down here and one fucking ear wiggling and shit. One dude has a neck that's 18 fucking inches long. And when you go to the airport, she supposedly lands Air Force Two at an airport. She's allowed to land, and there's 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people waiting on the tarmac. Unbelievable, impossible. Because you're not allowed to have civilians out on the tarmac. If they allowed that after 9/11, Trump could have his rallies at the airport on the tarmac. He could have got out of Air Force One, done his complete thing right there, got back on the plane and took off. It's unbelievable bullshit. But people have proven, same thing. There's dudes in red shirts that are standing up at the front of the crowd, and they're twice as tall as everyone else. So there's 10-foot giants allowed on the tarmac. When Air Force Two lands, you look at the bottom, the fuselage of Air Force Two, right? Kamala's plane, and the engine cowling, and you look at the reflection in the perfectly polished paint, and you see an airplane hangar behind it, or behind the camera person, or rather in front. There's no one there. It shows a flat, empty tarmac and a fucking building, no people. But in the picture, you see all these people. It's lies. There is no honor and there is no valor in the Democrat Party. There is no valor or honor, in my opinion, with Rhino Republicans. This isn't a partisan tirade. It is about honor. Now, Tim Walz's, I believe, battalion commanding officer. I want to get this right. I want to say it right. I want to make sure I've got this right. Yes, his battalion commander had this to say about Tim Walz. He says, I'm just going to read all the way through. I won't interrupt with my bullshit. Feeling a need to say this, I do not regret that Tim Walz retired early from the Minnesota Army National Guard, did not complete the Sergeant Major Academy, broke his enlistment contract, or did not successfully complete any assignment as a Sergeant Major. Unwittingly, he got out of the way for better leadership. Thomas Behrens was the right leader at the right time. He sacrificed to answer the call, leaving his family, business, and farming partner brother to train, lead, and care for soldiers. He earned the privilege of being called Command Sergeant Major. Like a great leader, he ran toward and not away from the guns. I have no opinion of Mr. Walz's decision to leave service at the time he did it. Was his right to retire early. I also have no criticism of his service as an E7 and E8 in the Minnesota National Army Guard. Right, by all accounts and on our record, he was a competent chief of firing, battery, gunnery sergeant, and first sergeant. He did not earn the rank or successfully complete any non-commissioned officer corps that he continues to glom onto the title. I can sit in the cockpit of an airplane. It does not make me a pilot. It's just, the guy is a sick, disgusting pig. The new vice presidential candidate. Just unbelievable, folks. Now, it is Sunday Night Live. Sunday Night Live, it is your show. You guys get to pick the topics. You get to say what you want. And as long as you don't violate YouTube's rules. Oh, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. But it is yours. If you've got something to say, we got down below. We've got CashApp. We have a, preparedmind.club link. We've got PayPal and Venmo, as well as the super chat button right up here. Hit that. We'll get your comments and questions on the screen to see what we're going to talk about. Folks, there is so much stuff going on. It is SHTF. It is out of control. So we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to start with, well, this week we're going to start with Chin Music. He has done a $52.23. That's a $50 plus a $223 super chat donation. And if you do $50 or more, I get a shot of single malt Scotch whiskey. And I like to start the show off because, well, Chin Music and Darcy T are a weekly super duper super chat. Anyways, Chin Music, I hope you got your question in to Mr. Uman. And here we are, sir. Semper Fi to you. Folks, I know that you guys are willing to do everything there is to protect this country. Right? When you take an oath, when you say and admit openly you're an American, it means a lot more than just, well, I'm here for the freebies. I'm here for the handouts. Anyways, let's do it. Down the hatch. Oh, and Semper Fi. All righty. This is Chin Music. He says, Harris Walls, the new name given to dancing around a direct question. Doing the Harris Waltz, right? Waltz, it's a dance, right? The waltz. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They won't directly answer anything. They won't be held accountable. Folks, if you are honorable and decent, you can be held accountable. That gives you an idea exactly who these people are. Chin Music, thank you again, brother, for the great support you give and also the comic relief I get in the some of the emails. And there's a number of you out there that take really good care of the show because it is your super chat donations that keep us here. It pays the bills. and it keeps us here. Otherwise, shit, I'd probably be working at, well, not a Starbucks, not a Dunkin' Donuts, not a Dick's Sporting Goods, certainly not a Target. Yeah. Good golly, folks. Now, let's move over to Darcy T with a $50 super chat donation. Darcy T, and she likes to do PayPal. And there's another one. We're going to start off this show with 2 nice shots of scotch, kind of lubricate the brain, get the mouth going, because we got 2 hours of zoo fun. And here's to you, Darcy T. Every week, you and others are here, and you keep this channel going. You keep the freedom message, the message of liberty, freedom, America, the Constitution, all of it. You keep it alive and well. Here's to you, Semper Fi, Darcy T. Oh, woo! Like mother's milk. Here's her question. She says, hey, Grandpa Joe is saying that he is not confident of a peaceful transfer of power if Harris wins the selection. It seems to me that they are already planning a Harris win, complete with a veiled threat from Joe, as he alluded to the January incident. My take is that the evil globalists just want people to take sides no matter who wins, so they can advance their agenda and put us in a similar situation to what the UK is experiencing. They are already arresting people who didn't even take part in protests just for stating their opinion online. It's a clever way of requiring global IDs in order to track people and censor free speech even more. Well, Darcy, you said more than a mouthful there. But they're great topics to discuss, right? They are not planning on a peaceful transfer of power, no matter who wins. I agree. If they can't pull off the cheat, then they've got violence ready. They do. If they can't pull off the cheat, and man, are they trying to put it out there as if it's coming. It's absolutely coming. Don't worry, it's coming. They want it, folks. They want the violence, the unpeaceful, mostly peaceful transfer of power. Now, if Trump doesn't win, we know that we've had it stolen. There's no fucking doubt. I mean, look at if Harris and Walz could fill an arena, even though they blanketed down the top half, they just had the bottom row of bleachers, not the top row, top, bottom, and the floor area, which Trump will fill every single time. They couldn't even fill it. They had to fill it with AI. There's no enthusiasm for her. In fact, the people that did show up that were real were paid to be there. And typically they put some entertainment on the stage. People show up for free entertainment and then they leave. It is absolute dishonorable, despicable, lying shit. But yes, I agree with you, Darcy. They're planning a Harris win. They're referring to the January incident. And if she doesn't win, they're going to get what they want anyway with violence. They'll just have the left-wingers go nuts. Right? And now, referring to the United Kingdom, England, Britain, right? The land of Steve Conlon, Mr. Hunter, good golly, folks. There's all kinds of trouble in Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England. But especially England right now, because the government is trying to destroy the country. They're arresting people, not for protesting. They're arresting nationalist British people, not the immigrants, not the Jihad Joes. No, Jihadi Joe, you can protest and you can stab, murder, beat, kill, threaten. You can even assault and stab cops. You won't be arrested. Literally, folks, now they're stabbing cops. But they're arresting white people for going to a protest, and they're arresting British or white people, if you will. And there can be black British people. They may as well be white, though, by the way they talk. Right? If you're not screaming, yay, Islam, and go Hamas, right, they're going to consider you to be the enemy of the state. It's unbelievable. In fact, they're so out of line in England. They've got this old crotchety fuck who's like, oh, we're going to come and arrest you in America. We don't care where you're at. We've got lists. It's like, really? Okay, my name is John. I live in Florida. Why don't you come on down and find me? I'll be more than happy to be taken back to England. Try me. You fuckhead. And then they've got this short woman who looks very dykish, whose hair stands up about 6 inches off of the top of her head with frosted tips. She's the one that is deciding what speech is hate and what speech is not hate. Unfreaking believable. By the way, Chin Music, I expect another question for your super chat. That wasn't too big of a question. I know you got more to say, man. Get it up there to Uman. He'll put you in the queue. Now, they are wanting to do the same thing in America they're doing in England, and that is declaring language and verbiage to be violent and therefore illegal. To chide, tease, or trigger or insult a Hamas terrorist or a Palestinian terrorist or an LGBTQ terrorist, they want to call that a crime. They would like to start doing that in America the same way at the January 6th incident. All people did was show up to protest. Well, what's the difference between protesting that they call violent and then using words that they consider violent? They literally consider your words violent. That's right. Your words are violent. It's a microaggression. So can't they just silence you for a microaggression? Can't they come and arrest you for an aggression, a microaggression? That's an insult that has hurt people. Therefore, you've assaulted them and you should be arrested. They can start making that claim here in America. Well, how do you differentiate between that and this thing called free speech? Well, they're going to forget about the First Amendment. You bet. But if they're going to forget about the first, whoops, right underneath it is the Second Amendment. And this is not a threat. It's not a threat. It's a promise. You will not have a whole lot of luck with trying to mess with the Second Amendment, much less the First. I tell you, there's a reason the Second is right behind the First, because if they get rid of the one, you got the other. All right, now, we started off the show with the one bang, two bang, and look, it is Chelsea P, who has stepped up with a $50 Venmo super chat donation right at the beginning of the show. So it's a 1, 2, 3. And that means another Glenn Levitt 15 for me. Mr. Uman, I'm going to have to hold you off there, buddy. Keep it there. Okay, I got it. Chelsea P. It must be the same Chelsea that did Venmo, or is there another Chelsea that's right here? Uman, you're going to have to hold off on Chelsea Werung because Chelsea P is checked in with a $50. So hold on tight and try and give me no getting me off the hook drunk, or it'll be a fast show. This is right here is going to be stiff. Anyways, Chelsea P. I don't see any comments here on the Venmo thing, but Semper Fi to you. Honor, valor, and God bless America. Scotch definitely is one of the great blessings to Americans as well as Scotsmen. All right. All right. Let's do Chin's comment. Let's get that one up there. Make sure this alcohol doesn't rush to the head too quick. Chin's actual comment is this. So now Tulsi Gabbard speaks out against Kamhola, and the very next day she's on terror watch list. What the fuck? Right. When are even the shitbag moderate Democrats going to say enough? And now we have Ukraine starting incursions into Russia with American weapons, and the ice cream man is at the beach. When will the feckless, which means gutless, heartless, hopeless, worthless, when will the feckless GOP demand he step down? I'm still standing by my prediction. Kamhola and stolen valor bet a tampon Tim don't survive the convention. What do you say, What say you, Tiny? Well, I tell you what, Twinkle Toes Timmy is in horrifying shape and condition. Now, the fact that he has dishonored the military through his stolen valor probably excites Democrats and liberals and communists and traitors. They're probably happy about that. They're probably happy about that. He is a disgusting pig for what he's done to children as well as the military, as well as allowing Minnesota to burn in 2020. Remember, that's where it started. Right now, I think tampon Twinkle Toes Timmy, I think he'll survive it. I don't see a problem from the Democrat chair, from the thinking man chair. Yes, from the Democrat chair, they don't care. That's like Kamhola. She started her political career with her head between Willie Brown's legs. Right? They want to complain that Trump had side chicks, supposedly. Yet Kamhola is the side chick. And everybody knows it, and that's fine. That's a resume enhancer as a Democrat. Hating the country is a resume enhancer. Wanting drag queens at schools is resume enhancer. Putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms, resume enhancer. Wanting children to have unfettered, just open free access to gender bending, gender changing drugs and access. They call it reproductive health care. Since when is cutting your dick off or cutting your breasts off reproductive health care? It is genital and physical body mutilation. That is a resume enhancer to support that. So that's what I have to say. I mean, look, Chin, in the real world, we all know that you should be fired just for being such a fucking lunatic. You should be hated by everybody. You should be ostracized by your family. All of your friends should hate your guts, except these people don't have any friends. Instead, they have a nationwide freak circus called the Democrat Party. And as long as you claim to be one of them, you'll be loved by all the others. And I think I said that pretty well. Now, Uman, can we go back to the first part of Chin Music's comments, please? Because he's covering a lot of ground with this, a lot of ground. Hopefully you didn't erase him too bad. Because, yeah, there we go. Nope. Okay, let's try that again. Dun, 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 dun. We need Chin Music's other comments. I should have said I'm going to have you back up there, man. Just because there's just so much going on. I mean, talking about, while we're waiting, there we go. Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, she obliterated Kamala Harris in the 2020 Democrat, shall we say, I mean, do we even want to call it a primary? Because it was awful. It was horrifying. They didn't even have a primary this year. There was no primary, right? That I know of. They just said, Kamala, you're going to be the next one, right? And that was it. But yeah, Tulsi was put on essentially the clear skies or open skies or free skies. Basically, it means a terror watch list without a criminal complaint or any evidence that you're a terrorist. And I think Tulsi Gabbard has basically said that's enough, right? But it's only because she found out that she's hated. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, as far as I'm concerned, okay, compared to the extreme left-wingers out there, she seems moderate, right? Because you're talking about moderate Democrats, Mr. Music. I don't see that as being a moderate Democrat. As soon as you say anything that violates the Constitution, the first, second, third, fourth, all the way through, as soon as you want to attack, especially the first 10, the Bill of Rights, which were there to protect us, me and you, and the states, as soon as you say anything against that, you're no longer a moderate. You're no longer a moderate. And Tulsi Gabbard does not like the Second Amendment. She's finding out how important the First Amendment is. And folks, once they take the first, and if you don't have a second, you find out why those two are so damn important. So yes, Democrats, when will other moderate Democrats say enough? Look, we just had another California senator California state senator, not a national senator, state senator. She switched to the Republican Party because she feels that the Democrats in California have left her, right? Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's not good enough. You don't just get to say you're a Republican and still be against half the Constitution just because you don't like how morally based, just awful, anti-human. Remember, the Democrat Party, and I've described them as the cult of death. They're the cult of death. Period. Cult of death. Just because you don't want to be part of that doesn't make you a great American. It certainly doesn't make you a Republican. I mean, you can register as a Republican all you want, but that doesn't make you one. The same way any liberal can sign up as a prepared mind supporter. That doesn't make you the same thinking as the rest of us, right? That's just someone who's a troll who wants to sign up, who wants to say that, well, I'm a paying prepared premium member. No, sorry, you're still not. You're just a hack. Yeah, they're just a hack. Anyways, and now we have Ukraine. Let's get to Ukraine. Ukraine has invaded Russia. Right? Let's go to the next one for Mr. Chin Music, please. Ukraine has invaded Russia. They're using American weapons. They've gone across the border. As soon as I read that, I thought, well, that's interesting. So they've broken through, or they slipped around the lines. Now remember, Russia's border is not like the border from Rhode Island to the north, right? It is, 1,000 miles north to south? So they invade Russia. And what is the Ukraine military doing, folks? What is the Ukraine military doing? They are killing civilians, and they are taking civilians as, well, I call them hostages, but they're calling them, right, POWs. They're capturing people and saying that, well, we're capturing Russians. Well, they're civilians, and they're killing civilians. They're killing civilians. I got some footage, dash cam footage of Russians driving down the road, avoiding mines in the road, and then getting shot at. They're in a civilian car. They're not military, and they're being shot at by Ukraine military. Do they think for 1 second that they're going to be allowed all the way up to Moscow? It's crazy. They're just asking to be pinched, right? To have the military or somebody close in behind them, shred the roads that they use to get there, and basically eliminate them all. This is a public relations stunt by Ukraine to gin up enthusiasm, which has happened. Right, the war hawks in Europe and, of course, Washington, D.C., they're all excited by this. It's the equivalent of 2 or 3 terrorists getting onto a U.S. military base and claiming they've taken the base over. It's not going to happen. They could, at any time, absolutely destroy this military convoy. They could use a tactical nuke on them. It's pretty incredible, folks. As far as Ice Cream Man, Joe Biden being on the beach, he's a piece of shit. When will they demand he step down? They should have impeached him, and this is just one more impeachable offense, right? They're trying to increase World War III, and I think Putin, as usual, is being very calm and quiet about this. He's not making a big deal. He's not giving them the satisfaction they want. But yeah, if the expansion of the World War III effort, you would think that he would want to be in Washington, D.C. Well, he's a doddering old fool. Everyone knows he's not going to run for president again. He is beyond lame duck. It's unbelievable, folks. Anyways, I'm glad you have your predictions, Mr. Chin Music. Well, it's going to be the prediction for violence stands. It's going to happen to try and make the United States, shall we say, law enforcement at the federal, state, and local level behave like the military and police in other countries. It's not going to work here. It's not going to work here. Anyways, Mr. Uman. Let us move on. Very good, very good, very good, very good. So Chelsea P. Let's do it. Where am I at? Uman, come on the screen with me. What? Who?
You already did Chelsea's shot, right?
I can't remember. I think so. Yes. Okay. So Chelsea P is Chelsea W. Got it. All
yes.
Right, let's roll.
The way it shows up on Venmo is different than the way it shows up here. So it is the same. And had she not told us that, I would have made you do an extra shot. So she could have got a 2-for-1.
Oh, well. Oh, okay. And so basically, you've got a question for me. She does.
No, she just said good show, and I haven't seen her throw anything else up. But if she would like to, I'd be happy to grab that. And Mom is in the studio now. She got her computer issue fixed. So
great. Yep. The prepared mother is on the scene. Thank you, Mr. Uman. And let us continue. Chelsea, get your questions in. Doggone it. Gotta have them. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing? What are you thinking? Prediction, statement, or just a good joke? Thank you, Chelsea, and Mr. Husband. He's there as well, always in the background. Let us continue, shall we? Dan, oh shoot, there's Dan. Big Dan's in the house. Dan Erickson with a $5 super chat donation. If you want to get on the screen, you got something to say, think, whatever. Super chat donation right here. Dan says Trump needs to tone down the attacks and stick to more what his administration policies are. Now, I'm glad you brought this up. Okay, I am going to be, look, if I wanted pure communism introduced into this country so they could absolutely destroy everyone, I'd say vote for Kamala. Vote for Twinkle Toes, Timmy, the Barn Boy Walls. I don't want that. Our best shot at protecting our republic is to vote for Trump. Now, don't think for a second, I will not criticize Trump because I will. And after he's elected, I will definitely be criticizing every day that the January 6th prisoners aren't out. Every day that there is not a prosecution moving forward against every last one of these fucking traitors. Now, with respect to his campaign, I agree with you. Now, if Trump gets up there for 2 hours, you have to watch all 2 hours to know how much he's talking about his policies and how much he is just attacking the left. And I agree, he needs to make sure his policies are 100% clear. 100% clear. Right? His tax policy, his border policy, his military policy, his education policy, his Wall Street policy, his Treasury policy, right? All of his policies need to be crystal clear. Getting this LGB shit out of our face. Period. Cleaning up colleges, everything. He has got more work in front of him than anyone else ever has because of the destruction that the Biden-Kamala Harris administration has created. See, now I'm attacking them. They've destroyed this country. So in order to address it, you basically have to say, Kamala is responsible for the inflation with Joe. Don't say, elect me and I'll fix it. You've had 3.5 years to fix it. It's just gotten worse. But I see your point. He needs to be crystal clear. This is what get this. I just flipped on mainstream news, Dan, and it said Trump's tax policy will increase the national debt $4 trillion over the next decade. And I said, really? $4 trillion over the next decade? The current president, Biden and Kamala, their policy is creating $3.5 trillion every year. Every fucking year. $3.5 trillion every year times 10 years, a decade, is $35 trillion. But Trump will only be $4 trillion. But they're trying to say Trump's is bad, right? So he needs to be clear. Right now, I think there should be no more deficit spending. I think we need a balanced fucking budget. If I have to live in a budget, you have to live in a budget. If we go in the hole on debt too much and can't service the debt, what happens? You're not allowed to default anymore, folks. Right? They're from what I understand, and I have not filed bankruptcy, but from what I understand, credit card debt, you can't discharge anymore. They're not allowing people to discharge their debt with bankruptcy the way they used to. All they're doing is letting you reorganize your debt and then make payments on it. They're not allowing you to get out of it. Right? It's incredible. The federal government should not be allowed to do things that we can't. Right? There's nothing in the Constitution that says spend more money than you take in. Nothing in there says that they can do that. Nothing. Doesn't even imply it. But yeah, I think that at this point right now, Dan, Trump is raising all the money he can. Right? And all he has to do is point at Kamala and point at Twinkle Toes, Timmy, and say, look at them and look at what they're saying and look at what they're doing. And he should be able to raise money. Right? But that's what he's doing, is raising campaign funds and contributions to put out TV advertisements, internet advertisements, billboards, right? Everything. Because it is about, it's an advertising campaign. It truly is. And to increase the enthusiasm, right? Now, if you were to ask me this question, Dan, asking the intellectual side of my brain, John, right? Would you like to hear all of Trump's policies and how they're going to make America great again? The answer would be yes. Very much so. I'm very interested. But if you also ask me, John, would you like to see Kamala and Twinkle Toes Timmy in a boxing ring with the two women from the Olympics that were not women, they were guys? Would you like to see them in a boxing ring? I'd be like, yeah, I'd like to see that too. Yes, right. The attacks are fine as far as I'm concerned, but I really think that the policy points need to be rock solid, not vague, not maybe, not if. And I want to hear more about illegals being shipped out of the country, because that includes terrorists. I want to know how we can do that. How can you and I, me and you as regular citizens, how can we assist in that? How can we assist in that? Because me and you, we know who the illegals are. You know how you know? They don't speak very good English. And if you ask them for their green card, they'll show it to you. They'll show it to you if they've got papers. Now in England, folks, the illegal immigrants, the legal immigrants, the un-British immigrants, if you even wear a British flag walking down the street on your shirt, right? British flag or any of the English, United Kingdom flags, you'll get your ass kicked. Try that in America. I literally, folks, you're not going to believe this. For the first time in my life, I saw a woman in the 100% covered everything except for the little eye slit. It wasn't quite a burqa because it was two tones of fabric. It was like black and extra black, but it wasn't that blue like sackcloth. And I fucking stared at her, trying to make her make eye contact with me. Of course, she wouldn't. Her Muslim husband, boyfriend, whatever the fuck he was, would not look me in the eye either. Somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds of standing and staring at them before I went in the grocery store. I was afforded the opportunity because there were no shopping carts. All the shopping carts were in the parking lot. The shopping cart wrangler was getting them. That's his job. He makes money wrangling shopping carts. While illegals come into this country and they get thousands of dollars every month for doing nothing more than coming here illegally. So there you have it. I don't have any respect for these people. There's no reason to respect people who just fuck them. Anyways, right? Administration policies, yes, please. Thank you, Dan. I couldn't help it. There's just so much that has gone wrong this weekend. And Chelsea, thank you again for the great support that you've provided this show, along with everyone else Who else is here? Who's on the house? Mr. Uman, what do we got rolling out there right now? Oh, wait a minute. I've got another one from Darcy T. If anyone has anything to say, hit that super chat button right up there. Pow, we'll get you on the screen. Get in line, get it in now. This is your show, and we've got, holy cow, over 400 people live. 400 people live. Pow. It is one hell of a show. I want us to get to 500, please. Thumbs up the video, share the internet address, and be sure, if you want to comment, you've got to be a subscriber down below. At the very least, be a YouTube subscriber. Now, this is from Darcy T. She says, when you get a chance, check this out. They are literally changing the subtitle captioning to the British videos to suit their narrative, right? She sent me this video, and the guy is talking, and he said the word white. He was talking about how there's a two-tier policing system. If you're an immigrant, you can commit all the crimes you want. But if you're white, the police will grab you, throw you to the ground, and arrest you. But when he said white, you slow it down, you hear him say white instead of black, right? He said white, but they changed both his audio to black using AI, and they changed the subtitles on the screen to black. Said they're grabbing black people and throwing them to the ground. They clearly, obviously replaced it. Just what the hell is going on? They want to change the narrative, except they made a mistake. Well, they didn't make a mistake. People are catching it. They're catching it because if you watch all the news videos, you only see white people being thrown to the ground by the UK police, not black people. It's unfreaking believable what is happening out there. Unbelievable. Thank you again, Darcy T, for bringing that up. I tell you, I can tell you, there's just no getting away from these people. They are going to lie, cheat, and steal. There's no honor. There's no valor. There's no respectability. Everything they do that is wrong, they're calling a resume enhancement. I mean, this is crazy. Have you all heard that the federal court system, the Fourth Federal Circuit, has upheld Maryland's so-called assault weapons ban? That's right. This is different from the other federal districts that are shooting all of them down. So this is the Fourth Circuit, not the appeals court, the Fourth Circuit. So the lowest rung. They've decided to say, Maryland, you can do that. You can allow the state to disarm, take away our rights, the rights of the people in the 4th District, Maryland. Right? And I think that this is what should happen. The more that states push their anti-Second Amendment bullshit, the harsher, the nastier the Supreme Court rulings should be. Here's the ideal. After we get more of the Supreme Court saying, didn't you follow the other, right, appeals court and the other districts? Read what they have to say. They're all trashing the anti-Second Amendment rules. But I think the Supreme Court should have a ruling, basically a rubber stamp. And it should say, stamp. It says, shall not be infringed, motherfuckers. And that should be the decision. That'd be a great Supreme Court ruling. Anytime anyone interferes with the Second Amendment, either guns, ammunition, accessories to guns, magazines, shall not be infringed, motherfuckers. And that's it. That's how it should go. It really should. They should just stop this bullshit altogether. But you and I need to be aware. We're preppers. We're patriots. We're thinking. We know the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. You are prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You're paying attention to current events out here, so you know what's happening. Right? The people of England, folks, literally, the people of England are getting caught off guard. They're just walking down the street, minding their own business. They start getting punched. Do you think any motherfucker in America, if I'm wearing this shirt, is going to fuck with me? You think so? It's going to be a crowd of at least 3 of them that would attack me. And there's going to be nothing left but blood and hair all over the place. Because I am also a card-carrying member of the Second Amendment American population. Not only does my state, Florida, allow me to carry a concealed weapon without a concealed weapons permit, I'm also allowed to carry, with a concealed weapons permit, a knife, a long knife, a fucking baton. I can carry anything, folks, in this state. You should see what the permit says I can carry, right? It's incredible. In any event, you're not going to catch me unarmed. But it's just these people. They hate you and me. Get prepared. See all these current events. Understand that you could be attacked at any time. That is why, if anyone is paying me too much attention, I give them a lot of attention. The same way I did those folks. And they might be completely nice, friendly Muslims. That's great. Be nice and friendly. But if you listen to what the great Winston Churchill had to say, about Muslims, he says when they're in the minority, right, they want to be given respect. And when they're in the majority, they're going to take all your rights away from you and give you Sharia law. And now that is not a verbatim quote, right? I'm paraphrasing the man. But right now in America, they're not the majority. They're not even close. So they have to do terror attacks. In England, they've got a lot more percentage-wise, and they're running the streets. Try it here. Try it in states like Florida and all the other states where people are allowed to carry concealed weapons without a whole lot of trouble. Even in the state of California, had a concealed weapons permit. Get prepared, folks. See what's coming out there. Make sure you're protected. Have all you need to be prepared, and pay attention and keep paying attention because it's coming. It has hit the fan. All right, Mr. Uman, let's do some more super chats and get off my, shall we say, soapbox. And we got 450 people live. That's good. Let's get to 500. Dan Erickson is back with a $5 super chat donation. He says, I would like no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, and a flat 10% tax on everyone. No write-offs. No write-offs. I tell you what, let's start with the no tax on Social Security. Joe Biden co-sponsored that and voted for it. If I'm wrong about him co-sponsoring it, fuck you, Joe Biden, anyways. He did vote for it, and he wanted it. Taxing Social Security. Okay, let's look at this. Democrats want $15 an hour. In California, it's $20 an hour. Minimum wage. That means they get how much money? It's a lot more than people get on Social Security. Social Security isn't shit, folks. It ain't shit. People on minimum wage, $15 an hour, are making double what Social Security recipients are. And Social Security recipients pay tax. It's money you've already been taxed on. Money that was taken out of your check and put supposedly in a lockbox. Thank you, Al Gore, that never made it to a lockbox. It goes into the general fund to get spent along with everything else, so we're in the hole. But we have enough money in this country to give thousands of dollars a month to every illegal. But if you're on Social Security and you make what, $18,000 a year on Social Security, you've got to pay taxes. It's disgusting. As far as tax on tips, you know what? They used to not tax tips because it was cash. And then they were like, hey, there's a lot of money out there we should be taxing. You know what? You know what I have to say about this? No. You don't get to be tax-free on your tips. I'm sorry to say this. If I have to fucking pay taxes, I don't get paid in cash. So I have to pay taxes. How about I get paid in cash and then I call it no tax on tips? How about if we all get paid in cash? and we don't pay. How about we stop withholding tax and tell everyone at the end of the year, you saved money, and then you pay tax at the end of the year, just like people who own a business have paid in the past, right? Now I get it. I get what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to buy votes. Why is it that people who tend bartenders make more money than me? And I'm out sweating so fucking bad. I sweat through 3 fucking t-shirts. My shorts, my underwear are dripping with sweat, literally every fucking day. And I get taxed 100% on all, doesn't matter. I don't get paid in cash. Why do they get a fucking break? Don't tell me waitressing is hard and bartending is hard when they're not out in the fucking sun like I am, dripping in sweat, literally. Now, that's a tirade. I get what he's doing. I would just say, let's fuck all of that and just go with the third thing you mentioned, Dan. Just a flat tax for everybody. No write-offs. No write-offs. Well, you know, if you're an employee, you aren't carrying the burden of running a business. The overhead, employees, right? But if you just take the cost of doing business, which includes employees, inventory, expenses like electricity, rent, utilities, other utilities, special insurance. I mean, I get that. That's why you want to write that off. So how do you do it, right? How do you do it? There's a lot of problems, Dan, with our system. Number one, if you're retired, you've already paid taxes on that money. Absolutely 100%. No fucking taxes on that. That is a relatively recent issue in history. As far as tips, I don't like buying votes, but that's what Trump is trying to do. I don't like buying votes because how do you get the genie back in the bottle? Or are you going to give everyone a fucking break? How about if you're going to say no tax on tips, why not say, hey, it doesn't matter whether you're self-employed or employed by someone else. You get to write off the cost of going to work, your gas, your tires, your insurance, your uniform. As an employee, you don't get to write any of that stuff off. How about letting everyone write all of their expenses off? I think that would be fair. Or you go to a flat tax, but how do you determine what is profit and what is not? Right? It's such a sticky question, man. But it needs to be fixed. I mean, it just needs to be fixed. I could make this even easier and say, look, the only money the United States government gets is taxes off of imports and taxes off of exports. Oh, by the way, that's what's in this book right here. That's what's in this book right here. And ask me to throw that up and flip it again. That's what this is. The federal government gets their money from exports and imports. So anything coming in the country, if you want it, it's going to be a lot more expensive because it's going to have to fund the entire country. Great, do it. Right? You want a car from Japan, it's going to cost you $150,000, $200,000. That'll get jobs back in this fucking country in a hurry, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Every car manufacturer would be in this country making fucking cars here if they had to triple their cost to support the government. Anyways, it's rough stuff, folks. I get it. I get it, Dan. I know what you're saying. You're pissed off. You're tired of all of us being punished. So corporations can write everything off, claim they've made no fucking money, so that they don't pay any taxes. Oh, you can right? You can cap X the fuck out of everything, right? You can write everything off possible, so you don't pay any taxes as a corporation. I get it. You can take money and you can donate it to charitable institutions to avoid paying taxes. And then they control the money in those charitable institutions. Taxes is incredibly complex. Let's move on, though. I'm rambling on a bit. Ooh, man, who's next? Okay, let's see it. This is just, what is it that's too funny? Why did the Marine bring a ladder to the bar? Because he heard the drinks were on the house. All right, thank you, Mr. Data. Let us go with another super chat. Oh, SD. Look, folks, if you've got more money, go back. Fuck. If you've got money after getting all of your preps, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. All right, let's do this. SD bullion. If you've got money after you've been taxed to death by the government and you need to protect it and you don't want to keep money in the bank, this is the place you go to get the best deals. There may be one or two occasionally online companies that you can buy gold and silver from, but I like SD bullion the best. Use this link to get the best deal possible. I've also used Miles Franklin, which is Andy Schechtman. I've called up Duncan Kaiser to take care of investment portfolios that I handle. I've also bought from the American Precious Metals Exchange, APMEX. I don't anymore because they charge too much. They charge too much, in my opinion. I'm not giving anyone investment advice. I'm just giving you some shopping advice. I like SD bullion when I have to purchase for investment portfolios that I manage. Let us continue now. Super chat. I think we had Gary D at the 556 super chat donation. He said it is very hard to believe the polling numbers that show Kamala close to even with Trump. Outright media lies. Yes, sir. 100%. Complete outright media lies. They lie. They're full of shit. And then they lie some more. They're doing everything they can. Everything they can. You know the reason Joe Biden stayed as the president, stayed as the candidate for so long? Because they knew Kamala Harris was an absolute terrible replacement. And the fact that whoever they replaced Joe Biden with wouldn't have access to the war chest that Joe Biden had put together as the president. So they had to go with Kamala. They looked left, they looked right, they couldn't get away with it. And they're still trying to fucking cheat. They're still trying to cheat. Outright media lies, Gary. Yes, sir. Ooh, man, who is next? Who is next? Woo, Dan Erickson back. $5 super chat donation. Washington State banned the black hole puncher 2 years ago, but grandfathered in so far have 2 of them. Washington State banned the black hole puncher. We're talking about ex post facto laws, folks. Do they even teach people what ex post facto means anymore? It means that the government cannot take your guns that you lawfully purchased. They can't. They can't say something you did 2 years ago is now illegal with this new law, right? Kind of like England saying, oh, by the way, if you criticize the government or the illegal immigrants, we're going to come and arrest you. Well, shit, I said that 3 years ago, man. I didn't even know that was, it wasn't illegal then. They're like, well, we're going to arrest you anyway. Well, that's a case of ex post facto. Means after the fact. So yeah, grandfathered in after the fact, ex post facto. But it doesn't matter to the left, folks. If they know that this says you're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want, right? The First Amendment. They're trying to stop that. They don't care about ex post facto. They'll just write a new law says, we don't care if it was legal. It's illegal. Turn it in. Second Amendment, they don't care. They'll just skip the 4th and 5th and say, we don't care about the 4th and 5th Amendment. You've done something wrong and we know it. You bought something years ago. You said something years ago. We're coming for you. Right? Kind of like the fucking dickhead over in jolly old England. Right? The chief constabulary butt sniff. Right? Says, we don't care where you are in the world. We're going to try and extradite you and charge you with crimes in England. I don't think so. But that's the mentality that these socialist anti-freedom scumbags are up to. So, Dan, please be careful is my advice. But yes, understand. Look, if they're going to come for your guns, it means they're going to come for your life. If they're trying to silence my free speech, it's because they want to kill me. and they need to silence me. If they're trying to take my Second Amendment, it's because they want to kill me and they don't want me to be able to fight back or say anything. Same with you guys. So what's the first thing you should do? Start talking and get loud and get good at it. Be like Dan. Be like Chin. Be like Darcy T. Be like everybody who wants to speak up. You have to speak up or they'll take it from you. A lot of people are like, I better not speak up because they might get mad at me and then take that away. No. They don't. They're just in it to take it away. Literally. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dan, for that super chat, all the super chat donations. Mr. Uman. We seem to have lost. We seem to have lost the prepared mother. But Rooster Cogburn is back in the house with a 556 super chat donation. He says, hey, send my regards to Jim and Roger. Those guys are patriots. Do you post on Rumble? I couldn't find a current channel. It is, I'm not sidestepping and dodging the question. I don't know where I'm at anymore. BitChute, Rumble. I repost stuff on Twitter X because I hope it has an effect. Instagram, I don't add anything on. Facebook, Jolene handles. I barely have time to do the preparedmind.club, subscribestar.com with YouTube here, Sunday Night Live, and then my Zero Dark. I don't have fucking time, folks. It's crazy. But I'm pretty sure Jolene has it set up to bounce to Rumble, bounce to BitChute, bounce to everything we can. But YouTube is trying to stop that. Isn't that crazy? They're trying to stop it. And by the way, speaking of YouTube, I want to say this. The YouTube former CEO, Susan Wojcicki, is a fucking tyrant, and she's now dead. Age 56, dead. She defunded so many patriots and so many great thinkers on YouTube. She defunded them, and she killed free speech on YouTube. Fuck her. She's dead. Good. Good riddance. That sounds harsh, right? That sounds harsh. But that's all the power she had. She did not have the power to kill me or put me in a concentration camp, but I have no doubt that she would, because she is so willing to stop free speech that she is a tyrant. She is an absolute tyrant in the likes of Stalin, Hitler, King George, Pol Pot, Ho Chi Minh, Chairman Mao. It sounds harsh, but she would murder you and me if she had the power. Same with Hillary Clinton, cute little Katie Couric, and of course, Camel Toes Harris and Twinkle Toes Timmy. They're all tyrants. They're all extremists, and they would kill us. Now, did I kill Susan? No. Would I shoot her? No. Would I hurt her in any way? No. But I'm glad she's dead, because as a dead person, she can no longer hurt us. The same way Hitler is dead and he can't hurt us, and Stalin is dead. Good. Right? We're all going to die, but it's what we do when we're alive that counts, and what you stand for. Will you be cursed when you're dead, or will you be celebrated when you're dead? Well, it all depends on who's doing the cursing and celebrating. Every scumbag Democrat alive today is crapping on every service person that ever lived, served, and died for this country. And I'm supposed to feel bad about a fucking tyrant like Susan Wojcicki? They shit on and tear down statues of great leaders and free people. Washington, Jefferson, Jackson. They're vandalizing monuments to great Americans and everyday Americans at Veteran Memorial. Folks, so why should I feel bad about these fucking people dying? Age 56? You bet. Dead. Dead. Thank you, Mr. Cogburn, very much. Yeah, by the way, her son died of a drug overdose while in college just a few months ago. If you're a drug addict, you don't respect yourself even. Folks, we're at 455 people live right now. 450 on my counter right there. That is awesome. Let's get to 500. Hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you're new here, make sure you're a subscriber down below. Hit the subscriber and then share the internet address. This is a harsh channel, folks. We talk facts. We talk facts. That's why it sounds so crazy, right? It sounds crazy. But, you know, hey, I'm not the UK police commissioner who is threatening international citizens over their online posting. He says, quote, "We will come after you." You know what I have to say, you little bitch? Bring the SAS Special Forces from Britain if you have to. Come and try and take my rights from me in person, you little bitch. All right, Mr. Uman, let's do it. Who's up next? Sunday Night Live, folks. We're getting closer to the election. Things are going to get violent. Are you ready? Matt D with a $5 super chat donation says, "The Oxford Gold Group in California is no more this past week, and people are shit out of luck." So, I don't know about this. I'm guessing the Oxford Gold Group out of California was taking people's money to buy precious metals, and they're out of business. Shit out of luck. That is scary, folks. That is scary. Uman, do you know anything about that?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, Oxford Gold Group was one of these companies that did convert your 401ks and retirement plans into physical gold and silver. And apparently they took a whole bunch of people's money and never bought the metals. And last week that came to a head and they got delisted or whatever and disappeared. And all the people that put their money into that are basically, like Matt D said, shit out of luck.
Well, yeah, if they don't have they didn't buy the precious metals and allocate them in their vault or at a vault like Brinks or Loomis or something.
Right.
And even that's horrifying. My recommendation is if you're going to buy, you buy and you hold it. You figure out where to store it yourself. But that's crazy business.
Yeah, I saw some stories on Friday where they had a whole bunch of people that invested their entire savings, converted their entire savings, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars into these precious metal funds. And then they came to find out that there were no metal purchases made to be put into there. So, you know, like we always say, you don't own it if you don't hold it. And that includes...
If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
Yep. And that includes even if you put it into your bank's safety deposit box. If that bank shuts down, you're locked out of that box. You have no access.
You're potentially 100% locked out unless they let you in and they don't go in and confiscate it.
Yep.
That is horrifying bad news. Every ounce I own, here's one of them, I own. Literally, I own it. Thank you very much for making sure I had that correct. I haven't followed that news story at all. I've been following reports from people who are speaking on the topic, like the aforementioned Andy Schechtman of Miles Franklin, a reputable company, been in business for decades, perfect Better Business Bureau record. There's nothing wrong with that. But man, I tell you, that is scary. Thank you, Matt D, for putting that out there and bringing it to everyone's attention. Yeah, Andy Schechtman has been criticizing these companies that sell people overpriced metals, right? The absolute fastest company I've ever dealt with, from the time you call in and go, hey, look, this fund I'm working with, this is what we need. They ship it out and get it to me the fastest, right? Miles Franklin is a little slower, and AppMex is a lot more expensive. But you can look online, shop online. But for the love of God, don't trust other people with your wealth. I don't know what a better way to put that is. All right, let's do it, Mr. Uman. We're past the 1 hour mark. We're at 450 people live, and Boomers checking in with a $20 Canadian super chat donation. And he says this, today's generation grew up with internet, whereas mine didn't. Kind of reminds me of my generation growing up with an electrical grid, whereas the one before me did not. And yes, they were, in fact, the greatest. He's talking about the generation that grew up, lived, and dealt with the World War II as the greatest generation. They also grew up with the Great Depression. Okay. I did not grow up with the internet. I'm a Gen Xer, but I'm not a boomer. I tell you what, though, when I fell down, my parents told me, rub a little dirt on it, shut up, stop your bitching, and go out and play, right? Quit crying. Quit acting like a sissy, right? That's the response I got was, don't be a sissy, right? Rub some dirt on it. Get outside and go play in the traffic. I'm tired of hearing from you. That's what I was told. I got backhanded and knocked out of a chair. I got chased with a belt, with a twitch off of its tree, right? There was punishment for fucking up. There just was. Right? Sun's up, get outside and play. Don't come back until the sun sets, or I yell at you. And when I yell for you from the front door, you got 5 minutes to get here, or no dessert, right? It was a whole nother world, really. And imagine growing up with no electricity. And now some people I grew up with, folks, in America even, didn't have indoor plumbing. If you wanted water, you went and you pumped a pitcher of water. If you went to the bathroom, you went out to the outhouse, literally. Even people in Gen X generation, depending on where you lived, had to deal with that. Crazy business, folks. Crazy business, this whole thing called life. Kids today have no fucking clue. If I wanted to learn something, I'd either have to go to the library or go to the Encyclopedia Britannica. And that's where you learned from. Otherwise, you got news from, well, ABC, NBC, CBS, or you went and talked to someone from the greatest generation, right? Those that lived through the Great Depression, your grandparents or your parents, boomers. They knew an awful lot of shit, and you go ask them, hey, mom, hey, dad, is that true? Grandpa, grandma, what the hell really happened? And they would tell you. All right, and they would give you facts, not political spin. All right, let's move on. Mr. Who-Man, who's next? And thank you. And if, holy cow, it's Dan Erickson. He's back again with a $10 super chat donation. And he's got some laughter. He says, what's hilarious in Washington state? One county, King County, controls the entire state, almost 40 years of Democratic failure, and they keep voting for it by voting for Democrat. He's talking about SeaTac, Seattle, Tacoma, Washington. They have so much population in that little area that it controls the rest of the state. And it's that way across the country, too. Oregon is controlled by Portland. California is controlled by San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Sacramento County. While that sounds like a lot, well, that's 3 times. Fucking California is huge. Right? It's the 3rd biggest state in the union. Now, Florida, interesting, has Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville. All 3 have NFL football teams. That makes them big. Right? But guess what? Florida is not blue. It is red. Texas has Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin. Right? That's a lot of big cities. But it's still red. Thank God. What needs to happen is, first we need to take the illegals and test them out for the Olympics and have them pole vault over the wall. Right? And then we need to take all these liberals in our states, our precious states, and export them. Right? Where can we send them? If you want communism and socialism, you're out of the country. This is not a socialist document, the Constitution. It's a constitutional republic. No socialism allowed. You want to be socialist? Get the fuck out of here. All right, let's move on. Thank you very much, Dan. You the man. Dan the man. Woo! I want to make sure we don't short everything. Mr. Who-Man, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? Holy cow. It's Chelsea P/Chelsea W. She's back with a $49.99 super chat donation. And I'm getting a little parched here. Gonna need $50 super chats or more, do this right here. Woo! We're going to do it, folks. Single malt Scotch whiskey. I don't drink communist beverages. You won't catch me with a White Claw. Anyways, Chelsea, here's to you. Here's to all you do that's for the red, white, and blue. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Semper Fi. Take your breath away like mother's milk. Chelsea says this. Met an immigrant Uber driver. I did too, months back. I was told, John, you need to be at a certain location. I said, there's no fucking way I'm going to get the Prepared Mind Armageddon vehicle to fit in a parking space in that city. And so they said, we'll send an Uber for you. And they did. And I met an Uber driver from Macedonia who is all about freedom and liberty. He says, America is so great. Don't let it fall to communism. All right. So Chelsea says, met an immigrant Uber driver on our way to axe throwing. There's an American sport. We aren't the only ones fed up. He talked about how hard it was to get his papers. Yes, indeed. Every immigrant who is legally here is pissed off. He says it isn't fair what is happening. Now, folks, I understand an illegal because they had to do so much work to get here legally and to get their papers, to get their U.S. citizenship, not as a natural born citizen, but as an immigrant. And to see these people getting in, to them, it isn't fair. I'm a natural born citizen. I couldn't give a fuck. It's against the law to come here the way they are now. It's against the law. They're illegal invaders. They're not even immigrants. They're not migrants. They're criminals. They're invaders. Saying it isn't fair. Yeah, saying it isn't fair. I get it. It's not fair. It's also criminal. I understand how they feel. It's not fair that I have to pay as much taxes as I do and have paid for people who pay no taxes and get all these benefits. It's not fair that veterans are denied medical treatment for all the problems that being in the military causes. How much you want to bet this, folks? Every fruitcake that has joined up for the military the last 4 years under Biden, just so they could get in there and have the military pay to cut their nuts off, they're going to be on lifetime, get this, lifetime drugs, lifetime hormone replacement. Because it happened while they're in the military, they're going to expect the Veterans Administration to pay it. And the VA will take care of them. But they're going to deny everyone else that they can. How much you want to bet? We have homeless in this country. They might be a little squirrely in the head because they're fucking homeless and whacked out. We're not taking care of that problem, but we'll take care of these illegals that show up and they're fucking whacked out too. They hate America. They hate freedom. They hate Christians. They hate white people. They hate black people. Did I just say something I'm not supposed to? They also hate Hispanics. They hate immigrant Mexicans. They hate immigrant Central Americans that are true, honest, proper immigrants. There's people from North Africa. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about North Africans and the Middle East and also Asia that are Muslim, that are terrorists, and that hate everybody in America. Even if you're black, even if you're brown, even if you're a person of color, they hate you. So understand that and be prepared accordingly. Have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Means of self-defense. No matter what color you are, have a plan to understand what is going on based on current events, what these people are being told to do. BLM, Black Lives Matter. They're actually LGBTQ black people. That's who runs the organization. They hate everyone. Antifa, they hate anyone who isn't a communist. Anyone. They also hate boomers and the elderly. There's so much hatred of our country. It's not fair. Well, they're going to say it's not fair when we kick them the fuck out either. But I guess life isn't fair. Chelsea, thank you so much for all you do. Thank you, everybody. Let's continue. We're at 450 people still live. That's a great number. Let's get more. Thumbs up the video, and let's continue with Orlando and a $10 super chat donation. He says they want to come take our guns, and that is the proper way to spell guns so that YouTube doesn't take it off there. They want to come take our guns. Give them the bullets first. Once again, that's the proper way to spell bullets. He says, stand up, get up. We need to become true Americans again. The answer is true. They want to come take our guns. Okay, you can have the bullets first. Folks, people are going to die. I'm not calling on violence. I'm not saying do anything illegal. I'm saying stand up for your rights, defend your rights. Look, if someone came into your house and pointed a gun in your face while wearing a ski mask, what would you do if you had a gun in your hand? You'd shoot them. It doesn't matter who kicks down your door, folks. If they're there for you, your guns, your money, your daughters, your granddaughters, your wives, give them the bullets first. I don't mean to glamorize it. Your rights matter. We all need to be true Americans. So exercise your Second Amendment and exercise your First. Exercise your First Amendment, exercise your Second. Exercise them. Start using them so you get used to using them. They want to come take our guns? Try me. Fucking try me. They want to give you the Jim Jones juice forcibly? Try me. Folks, okay, imagine this. Imagine it's 0 dark 30. I get out of the Prepared Mind truck, right? And I start walking in a direction, and I get tackled by 10 people. And they come and they jam me up, squirt me full of the Jim Jones juice. First thing I do is go home and I detox myself day after day after day after day after day. I call Nikki. I'm like, Nikki, I need more detox technology. And Nikki is the, right. I make sure I detox 150%, right? In other words, I over detox. As soon as I'm done with that, every last medical person I can find is going to pay for what those others did. If it's law enforcement, every last law enforcement person I find is going to pay for what those people did to me. Period. It's not a threat. I'm not offering threat and violence. What I'm saying is they will pay. Because I'll get a lawyer. Yeah, that's how they'll pay. I'll get a lawyer. Right? The same way I go, well, if you stand for terrorism, if you stand for that, you stand for rape, you stand for violence, you stand for killing old people, young people, everything else. Don't expect mercy. Don't expect mercy. Right? What if someone, right, attacked your children and harmed them or raped them? All of these freak Democrats who want to make minor attracted persons legal. What do you think they deserve? What would you do if they did that to your family? Well, shouldn't that happen to all of them then? Because they're all for it. I'm not making a call for violence. It's an academic exercise. What do people deserve? If they traumatize and hurt people, don't they deserve to be hurt and have trauma? If you're nice to people, haven't you kind of earned niceness back? Right? I give love, I give niceness, I give kindness, I give courtesy to everybody. If I don't get that back, if I get something else back instead, right? That's what they get. Everyone gets what they deserve ultimately, I guess. If you're a happy, kind person and you love people in general, then you live a happy, kind life in your heart. You live a good life. You get what you deserve. You know, we're gonna start delving down psychological, philosophical roads, and we don't need to do that. Orlando, thank you, brother. I agree 100%. Give them the bullets first. Fuck. All right, let's move on. Man, who's next? Chin Music with a $9.99 super chat donation right there. Bam. Beta males make me sick. Oh, yeah. These are called men for Kamala. I think of more like beta bitches for Kamala. Beta male. What is a beta male? A beta male is a human being who has a penis that is an absolute wimp, right? That is a simp, a simpleton, a wimp, right? That doesn't have morals, can't stand by it, does what other people want them to do. Beta males don't stand up for themselves or for what's right. That's what a beta male is. And they're sickening. They're disgusting. How about this? Someone is having their ass beat on the street. You didn't see what caused the commotion or who deserved to have their ass beat. But when someone gets knocked to the ground, do you let the person who knocked them to the ground keep kicking them in the fucking head? Heel stomping them, breaking their ribs while they're knocked out? No, you stop them. A beta male just watches or films it laughing. No, it's like, dude, you fucking beat the dude's ass. You're not going to send him to the hospital, give him a brain damage, and kill them. I don't care. It's a fist fight. That's what beta males do. They won't stand up for themselves or anyone else. That's just one example of what makes me sick. Watching everyone stand around while 4 or 5 guys stomp someone into the fucking ground. Now, I'm sure if you run into that with throwing elbows and fists, right, they might start fighting you. Well, stand for what's right or don't stand at all. And certainly don't stand around laughing while someone else gets, well, destroyed. I tell you what, folks, it is a rough world. And beta males are not helping it. But I tell you what, everyone's sneaking across the border. Every last one of these motherfuckers from North Africa, the Middle East, they're not beta males. They're here to fuck things up. You just wait. You just wait. And in fact, while we're at it, good news, Mr. Music. The governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, is ordering all hospitals to report the treatment costs to the state for illegal aliens, for criminal invaders. Why? Because he's going to add it all up and bill the federal government. I think that is absolutely brilliant. Bill the federal government. What do you think of that? Right? What do you think of that? I think it's a perfectly good idea that Texas sends them, because they're not there because Texas invited them in. They're not in Texas by right. They're in Texas by permission from the federal government to enter our country illegally. And so they're your guests, Washington, D.C. Therefore, you get to pay their bill. Hospital bill, should be hotel bill, or any other social cost. All right, let us move on. Ooh, man, who's next? And it's Mr. Skylight with one of his most excellent quotes and a $19.99 super chat donation to boot. He says, all tyrannies rule through fraud and force. But once the fraud is exposed, they must rely exclusively on force. That is a George Orwell quote that is so true it bears repeating. All tyrannies rule through fraud and force. Let's stop right there. That is correct. What are we seeing with Camel Toes Harris? Fraud after fraud, after lie, after fraud. Force. What does the IRS do? They take you to an unconstitutional court, an administrative court, and they threaten you with going to jail, having your paycheck garnished or stolen from you 100%, which could cause you to lose your house, your car, your family. That's a form of force, or just pointing a gun at your face. That's right, IRS agents have guns. Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, guns in your face. Every last one of them. Government puts a gun in your face. And then they tell you you're wrong for objecting to what they're doing, which is in itself a lie and a form of fraud. Telling you it's your duty to pay taxes is a fraud. Import-export taxes is how the federal government is supposed to get its money. The U.S. Postal Service, cost of a stamp. Unbelievable, folks. But yes, it's true. Once the fraud is exposed, They must rely exclusively on force. It is a fraud to take your First Amendment. In England, they're arresting people and fining them. That is the force. They send the police to arrest you. They put you in front of a court, not a constitutional court, right? And even though we have a U.S. Constitution, they have their version of, their rights in England, the rights of men, Magna Carta, etc. But they're going to start here. Their fraud is now exposed. So they're going to have to use force to take your guns, take your free speech, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Seventh Amendment. You bet. January 6 arrests were fraud and force. But they came to people's houses to arrest them with fully automatic machine guns, aiming them at wives and children as well as men. The fraud is continuing to be exposed. It's going to come down to force ultimately. Thank you, George Orwell. And thank you, Mr. Skylight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo! That was powerful. Let us continue. We're at, holy cow, the 90-minute mark. And we've got Dan Erickson. He's back again with a $5 super chat donation. The other joke in my state is you can buy a can, but not a thread on your barrel. I think by a can, he means a silencer. And Ooman is doing this. Inside my screen, I've got a little screen where Ooman, he waves to me. He gives me various numbers of fingers. And, and the head nod. It gives me all kinds of signs. Anyway, yeah, you can buy a silencer, but you can't put it on your barrel. How interesting is that? Well, that's a Washington state law, but if it violates the Second Amendment, it's a fraud. If you violate that their rule, which violate this kills me. Okay, God, people, Constitution, Second Amendment. Then comes government. Government passes anti-Second Amendment. Then they come after you. So they're committing a fraud against the Second Amendment, the Constitution, and you, but they'll use a gun to do it, to come and arrest you. So, Mr. Erickson, keep those silencers, legal, lawful silencers, in a very safe place. Make sure the threads on them are sized correctly. Get a tap, make sure they're tapped correctly. Get a die, make sure your barrel is tapped correctly, right? Tap and die. So that in the event of World War III, or in the event the U.S. government says the Constitution doesn't matter, and this brings up a very, very, very fine point. People, if the United States government, not the United States of America, but the United States government in Washington, D.C., and or your state government says, Constitution doesn't matter anymore. We are suspending the Constitution for martial law. Well, then if they've suspended the Constitution, then their authority is suspended. Their authority is suspended because their only authority rests on them obeying the Constitution. So when the U.S. or state government or local government suspends your rights, they're suspending all of the Constitution. Sorry, you don't get to pick and choose, cocksuckers. And that goes for you too, Twinkle Toes, Stallion Timmy. You don't get to choose what you do and don't like about the Constitution. Either all of it's in effect or none of it. Go fuck yourselves. You want to suspend the second? We're suspending your authority, and all of those silencers will get screwed in place. Am I pissed off? Yes. Am I out of my mind? No. Am I dangerous? No. I'm a law-abiding, Constitution-abiding American. And our rights are supreme. Not government. Government has authority. You and I have rights. Compared to the federal government's authority, the states have rights. Within our own states, we have rights, and we've authorized the states through state constitutions. It's actually a very simple system. It has just been reversed and flipped around where people now believe, many of them, that the government has all the rights and it gives us our privileges. Sorry, that's not how it works. That would fall under gaslighting. Gaslighting. And here's an example of gaslighting. The president of the Olympics says this: we would screen out men if science could tell men and women apart. That's a fraud. That's a lie. That's gaslighting. When the United States government says the Second Amendment doesn't say what it says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, right? Because people are the militia and the militia are the people. The right of the people, the right of the militia to keep and bear arms, a well-regulated militia being necessary to secure a free state, right? They're gaslighting. They're lying to us. We would screen out men from women's sports if we could tell men and women apart. Usually the dick is a big giveaway. And folks, if you did not see the bulge in the woman boxer's shorts, you haven't seen the right picture. And also the XY chromosomes. That's a big clue. We're supposed to ignore the science? I thought we're supposed to trust the science. XY is science. That means you're a man. Sorry. If you get boob implants, that doesn't count. If you take hormones, that doesn't count. If you cut your dick off, that doesn't count. If you cut your balls off, that doesn't count. You're still a man. You've just altered your figure, your physique, your body. But we're supposed to ignore science. Now, get this, folks. 5 years ago, the president of the Olympics, he would have been laughed at and fired. We'd call him the crazy one. 50 years ago, he would be locked in a loony bin for saying something, we would screen out men if science could tell women and men apart. Really? Well, you and I can do it, folks. It seems that the Democrats know what a woman is because they're pointing at Kamala Harris. I'm like, no, that's a whore. That's a whore. But yeah, a woman whore. They figured that one out. Gaslighting 101. The First Amendment doesn't say anything about free speech. Marbury versus Madison. Anything that contradicts, this is paraphrasing, contradicts the Constitution is no good. Doesn't count. It's not a law, right? It's null and void, to use the legal terminology. But they want to gaslight you and say, anytime they pass a law, it's a law until you go to court and take it all the way up to the Supreme Court before you can throw it out. Sorry. No one is obliged to obey an unconstitutional law, and no one is required to enforce it. So any cop that is enforcing unconstitutional laws that violate this, is themselves a violator of the Constitution, and they don't deserve to be Americans. I am not stealing anyone's American and God-given rights. I am here to defend them. Uman says, from Chin, let's do it. Get them back up there. It's erection year. So World Economic Forum Greggy Hot Wheels Abbott suddenly has a hard-on for sensible politics. Where has he been for 3 years? Worthless. Don't buy the hype. Just ask Ken Paxton. I'll tell you what. I understand what you're saying. Chin Music is saying the governor, Greg Abbott, now he wants all hospitals to send him all the money it costs so he can send Washington a bill. Yes, he's playing a fucking game. I follow you, Chin Music, but I'll commend him for saying that. Do I think he's a great governor? No, I don't. I don't think that any of these governors are going far enough, including Governor DeSantis. I think Governor DeSantis should capture all illegals possible and not send them to Washington, D.C. I think he should catch them and put them on planes back to where they fucking came from, and putting them on boats and setting them back into the ocean adrift from which and from whence they came. Ken Paxton is really fighting hard in Texas, much harder. I get it, man. I really get it. Gregory Hot Wheels. Yeah, always on an election year, folks. Politicians will talk about the Constitution in glowing terms, except, well, in 2024, a lot of them don't. Anyways, thank you, Chin Music, very much for that. I appreciate it. I really do. We're going to get more. We're going to get more bullshit out of these people, folks. Chin Music has stepped up and done another 22.23 super chat donation. Oh yeah. Oh yes, he has. You can't keep him back. You can't keep him down. Thank you very much for getting that onto the screen for me, Uman. I haven't gotten there quick enough, but always Chin Music. And again, straighten me out. I will give credit where credit is due when a politician does something right, but I always expose them for their bullshit lies and for not doing enough. I really would like to see Governor DeSantis do more. I really would. There's more to be done, a lot more. All right, let us move on if we shall. Johnny Coathanger checks in with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says, "You are doing everything right, John. YouTube hates you every 5 minutes. You've been erupted by a commercial." What? So YouTube is putting commercials and interrupting me every 5 fucking minutes. Thanks, YouTube. Folks, YouTube sucks. Thank you, Johnny Coathanger. They will do that. They get revenue for putting commercials on this broadcast. They don't want to share it with anybody, but they want to make the show so annoying that you go away. Don't let them get away with it. Hit the thumbs up, share the internet address, be a subscriber down below. That doesn't cost you anything, or become a premium member at thepreparedmind.club. CLUB. Club. And again, everybody, thank you for all the great support we have here. I love it. Bam! It's a way to tell camel toes, go fuck yourself. If I could send $5 to her and tell her, go fuck yourself, and knowing that she would read it, I would do it. But I don't think she can read. If there's one person in this country that has demonstrated she's an abject retard, Camel is one of them. AOC, you bet. Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, all of them, yes. But Kamala right now is at the top, folks. She is really battling with AOC to continue to say some of the dumbest shit ever. And where Camel Toes really excels is her witch life cackle. Every time she describes something that hurts others. She is a seriously deranged lunatic. Ooh, man, who is next? Who is next? And it is Dan Erickson. Big Dan, the man, is back with a $10 super chat. He says, bought threaded barrels for all my pew-pews before the ban. And yes, the ATF knows exactly who I am with not one, not two, but 3 tax stamps. What is a tax stamp? Well, a tax stamp, when you buy a bottle of whiskey, it has a label, right? A tax stamp. Anything that the United States government is authorized to tax, they have to put a stamp on it. Like a stamp for postage, that's a stamp tax. You're paying the tax and the fee. Right? The government's responsible for delivering the mail, but they make you pay for it with a tax stamp. Tax stamps on guns, right? Class 3 federal firearms license purchases, you need a tax. So yeah, the ATF knows who Dan is. He's allowed to have the goodies he has. As far as threaded barrels, well, the flash suppressors on my ARs have threaded, it's a threaded attachment. It already comes pre-threaded. Well, folks. Well. The Mini 14, not M14, Mini 14 I had a pinned flash suppressor. Well, that pin got knocked out and the barrel got threaded because the threaded flash suppressor I felt would rattle less. All right. Thank you, Big Dan, for all the great support. Pow. And we're rolling on. Shit, I'm getting thirsty because we're, holy cow, an hour and 45 minutes in. Whoa. I don't know what the fuck I put in there, but look out. Ooh, man, who's next? Woo! Chin Music back with $4.99 super chat. And he, God bless you, brother. He says, my lawyer works for Daniel's defense Esquire. Good deal. My AR-15 is a Daniel Defense. You bet your ass it is. My Daniel Defense upper, because I was not going to pay at the time $300 to $400 for a Daniel's Defense lower. And this is back when everyone started making the lower receivers. This is years and years and years and years and years ago. After they said, well, they're not illegal, you can buy your own lower and build your own. I was like, damn right I will, but I'm going to buy a Daniel's Defense upper. Great stuff, folks. I don't like to talk about specific manufacturers because then you get into these pissing matches over which one's the best. Is Daniel's the best? Is Adams the best? Is DPMS the best? Yada, yada, yada. Right. Well, I have a DPMS also, but there's a bunch, right? There's a bunch out there, and God bless the people for making them. God bless the people for making them on 3D printers. Folks, your rights are your rights, and they're trying to take away your rights. The only way to guarantee your rights is for you to defend them. One of the easiest ways to do it is to vote. We're voting November 5th. You have a choice. You can vote for a known socialist, the most socialist U.S. senator in Congress, who became vice president, is now running for president. She is retarded, and she is a socialist. How interesting is that? She will take your rights and claim they are nothing more than privileges. Or you can vote for Trump, who is a pro-American type of guy. Is he perfect? No. Has he made mistakes? Yes. Have we all? Yes. Are we perfect? No. Are you and me better than a socialist piece of shit that would send us all to concentration camp or just kill us? Hell yeah, we're better than that. Vote for Trump. There's no better option. And if you don't vote for Trump, you're helping people who will destroy this country outright. If they steal the election, we're already going to have World War III, Civil War, partisan war, and every other damn war. So if you want that, I guess you should go vote for Kamala. If you want to preserve our republic and continue to battle these bastards, well, that's an option of yours as well. I'm not telling you what to do unless you want, right, a nonviolent opportunity at saving our republic. Vote for Trump. All right, that's about it. People are probably going, John, you're just a Trump. You're a suck up the Trump. No, look, those are your fucking options. Pick one. And a no vote at all? Okay, great. Write in Pee Wee Herman. See where that gets us. All right, we're going to find out, folks. Sooner or later, these people are either going to declare war, they're going to do a huge cyber attack, they're going to EMP us, they're going to steal all our money in the banking crash. I mean, they're going to push for it. Trust me. Fight back. Ooh, man, who's up next? And look, folks, we're almost 2 fucking hours in, and we're still at 440 people live. The show ain't over until the super chats are done. And Boomer's back like he is every week with his second $20 Canadian super chat donation. And he says, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Western Europe has fallen all by design. So what makes us so immune from the same thing happening here? I'll tell you what, Boomer, I get it 100%. Up in Canada, you guys are even closer to what Europe has done to themselves than we are in America. We're not far behind you guys. What's going on in Europe? People are being hunted by radical, whacked out, crazy jihad Joes. And it's coming here. They're locking people up for violating, right, people's, their emotions and their feelings. Down here, folks, down here, Boomer, especially in America, we'd love to have you here, man. Look, I don't care if you're from Germany, China, Australia, Mexico. If you are pro-Constitution, pro-United States of America. Come here legally, go through the process and become American because we want you if that's what you can do. I don't want fucking socialists from India. I don't want communists from China. I don't want jihadis from North Africa or the Middle East. I don't want communists and criminals and cartel drug people from Central and South America. I want good people to migrate here. And I want all the commies, terrorists, and bad people to leave this country. Go somewhere else, fucksticks. Anyways, Boomer, thanks again for all the great support. You're here every single week. God bless you, man. Semper Fi. Moving on. Oh, man, where are we rolling next? We've got, holy cow, Chelsea Wayrung, Chelsea P, Chelsea W, and husband, Pow. Another, good golly, I need this. I need a good dinner tonight, too. I forgot to eat before the show. So this is like a double effect here. Yes, it has the double effect. Down the hatch. God bless America. God bless everyone around the world who supports America, freedom, liberty, and is involved in the fight. No matter where you're at, if you're involved in the fight for freedom and liberty, God bless you. Semper Fi. Woo! Chelsea says, I think you need one more mother's milk before the show is over. And I'm going to feel this one in about 30 minutes to 30 seconds. I mean, you got it. You got it, Chelsea. Thank you, and God bless you. Wow. Boy, I tell you what, I love my country. I do. I love my country. But, man, are we in big fucking trouble. We all are around the world. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Know the world around you, and let's get it on. Ooh, man, who's next? Right down here, super chat donation, something to say. And it's Big Dan. He's back. Oh, with a $5 super chat donation. He says, my Black Pew rifle is a Colt M4. Paid $1,250 in 2012, not including the optics. Well, happy 12th birthday to your M4. Folks, he did not say AR-15. He said M4. And he also says he has tax stamps. So I'm going to tell you right now, if Dan Erickson has an M4, his pew can go pew, 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 really fast. So breath control, trigger control, Dan. Unless you need maximum firepower, you got it, brother. Semper Fi to you. You've gone the extra mile to be you're a full auto American. Woo! The optics, folks, can get expensive. And I'm going to tell you this the same way I tell you right now. If all you can afford is the bottom, cheapest, least expensive AR-15, so be it, you're good. If you can afford to buy an M4, get your tax stamp, right? Because it's going to have a bolt carrier group designed to go full auto. God bless you too. If your optics are $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, get it done. Get what you can, because we're all going to need them. You are. And by the way, the other day I met somebody and we did a little bit of man comparison stuff. And I let them know, make sure you have some night vision optics. Night vision optics, goggles for your head, binoculars, night vision scope for your rifle. Anywhere from 8, depending on where you live in the country and the world, you'll have 8 to 12 hours of darkness every day. You need night vision. Terrorists do not go home at night. In fact, if anything should teach us anything, 2020 should teach us that the creeps come out at night and they set fire to houses, businesses, cars, and human beings at night. And that's how that goes. They really do. All right, Mr. Uman, you beat me to the punch there. Who's up next? And it is our good friend Inigo Montoya. And I do not think that means what you think it means. He says, do I ask tough questions? Yes. Do I give tough answers? Yes. Do I answer my own questions? Possibly. Yes, you do. Do I love you, freedom, and the great USA? Damn right I do. Semper Fi. God bless you, Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepared to die. That is, believe it or not, one of my favorite movies of all time. It has fencing, fighting, murder, revenge. It has all that stuff. The movie I'm talking about is called The Princess Bride. Interestingly, it was directed by Rob Reiner, one of the biggest sack of shit asshole communists ever. And apparently, my good friend, brother, compadre, and fellow American, Ooman, is here. What do you have in mind, brother?
As you wish.
As you wish. As you wish means it's another great line from the movie. A fantastic movie. It stars Andre the Giant. What's that?
That is absolutely one of my all-time favorite movies.
It just is. It's a great movie. I've read the book also by S. Morgan Stern, literal book that goes with it. I mean, you got it's a great movie. It's a heartwarming movie. It has corrupt, absolute filthy government. It has absolute shitty law enforcement. It has a jackass doctor who's for sale, right? Max the Magician, right? Miracle Max. He brings someone back from the dead, but only for money.
He's only mostly dead.
He's only mostly dead, yeah. That's Billy Crystal was in that. Great movie. But yeah, you killed my father, prepared to die. Inigo Montoya from that movie carried a grudge, a justifiable grudge, an honorable grudge. And in the end, he got his justice.
Yes, he did.
Wait. Count Rugen, right? The bad guy, the prince's bad guy. He was basically a doctor and a scientist.
Yeah.
He illegally conducted experiments on people to hurt them intentionally. So, yeah, we got a lot of modern, shall we say, facsimiles in that movie, The Princess Bride. But if you can, only watch it for free. That way Rob Reiner doesn't get any royalties.
Yeah, right.
We're at the end of the show. Can you believe it, man? 2 hours.
Well, it's not the end of the show because I just saw that about 3 more rolled in here while we were just chatting here.
Look, I'm a little bit dizzy here. Arizona Unplugged. How about this for a movie reference? Arizona Unpainted. Who knows Unpainted Arizona? He said, just wanted to say hi, and I love you, man. I love you too, whoever the heck you are.
That's Vaughn.
Huh?
That's Vaughn.
Is that Vaughn?
Yeah, it's Vaughn. It's this other channel.
I still think of him as BCP, man. I'm sorry, Vaughn. I love you too, brother. You know that. Arizona Unplugged. Okay. Well, if he knows Arizona Unplugged, then what is Unpainted Arizona? What movie is that? It would be Raising Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that reference.
They kidnapped the baby because they wanted a baby because unpainted Huffine, but Unpainted Arizona, Nathan, Arizona. Right? They had like 7 kids or some shit. Anyways, I don't know why I know why. This is why I kind of got off track. That'll fucking do it. Anyways, Vaughn, you can kick my ass later, brother. All right. Let's do this. We got more? Got more?
Dan has a little correction here.
He says, not a Colt M4, not a Colt M40, M41A. That's the full auto minus semi. Okay, very good. Very good. See, when I say M4, I think of military designation. He's giving us the Colt civilian designation. Gotcha. That's all right. We're still good, man. You got some tax stamps. I'm proud of you, brother. All right, let's continue if we shall.
Oh, boy.
I had an M16A1. First off, ooh, man, I need some help with Flannery descendants. Look that up real quick.
I don't know either.
Look it up. Look it up. Hey, look at that. Anyways, Northern Pike. Northern Pike does a $55 super chat donation. Now, is this Glenn Levitt 15? Do I stand with Flannery descendants? I know the name, and I'm not putting 1 and 6 together. Oh, Semper Fi, down the hatch. God bless you. Thank you for the great support. And we'll take care of this, and then we'll get to Flannery.
I'm not
Woo!
finding anything that I can figure out what that reference is. If hey, Northern Pike.
Indeed. What do we got?
I was going to say, hey, Northern Pike, if you want to put some further explanation into there, I'd be happy to put it up for you.
Please do. I'll stay online and wait for that. Get it on there now, damn it. I need to know which, because I'm thinking doodly Ned Flanders. No, not those Flannery. I should know it, damn it. This is what happens when you get old and you know your history. Okay, listen. Do I stand with Flannery descendants? I had another reference here. I had another reference, Flannery. I'm just fucking drawing a complete and total blank on this. And I apologize completely. I should know this.
There were a lot of Flannerys that emigrated to the U.S. I don't know if it refers to that or something back in the U.K. or.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not seeing anything directly related to that term.
Okay.
Okay, hold on here.
He stumped me. What do we got?
He says, Flannery is occasionally used as a given name, particularly in Ireland, which meanings such as descendant of the Red Warrior or Red Hair.
Oh, then the answer is hell yeah. Hell yeah, fuck yeah. If that's correct. Maybe that's maybe because it is such a vague reference rather than naming a particular family or clan. Now, my surname, both the Americanized version and the original surname are Celtic and Celtic derivative, and there's quite a bit of this color hair and red hair amongst them, as well as blue eyes and green eyes. In the UK or in the well, Scotland, Ireland, as well as Germany. So it was a trip. There's a trip, but yes. And I was thinking that was the same as Flanders as well. I know I'm a little bit loopy here, man. But it's okay. God bless you. Semper Fi to you, sir. Thank you, Northern Pike. All right, man. Are we caught up on super chats? I know we're at 2 hour mark. And no, Dr. 762 checks in. And by 762, he means 7.62 millimeter full metal jacket. And what he's saying, $20 super chat donation. And he says this: it seems to me that our military needs to be clear on their duty between voting day and 25th of January. Thoughts? Is 25th of January the inauguration day of this coming cycle? Or is it always on January 21st? That's one that for some reason, I can't commit to memory. In any event, our military does need to be very clear. Dr. 762. The problem with our military is the leadership. Right? You can ask just about any Marine Corps field officer or non-commissioned officer. If you want something done, you give it to Lance Corporals and they'll fucking get it done. because they're not afraid of non-judicial punishment, and that one because they don't have their blood stripe yet. And I'm talking about Marine Corps because that's all I can speak to. But here's the point: before I wander off a tertiary way, it's the leadership. It's the brass. It starts with the president, and then it goes to the Secretary of Defense. Then it goes to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Then it goes to the fucking Pentagon. Then it goes to all the officers in the Pentagon being sacks of shit, communist pieces of shit. Then I start blaming Annapolis and West Point because they're not teaching this is more important than policy. They're not teaching military officers that a part of your history and your duty is to obey the spirit of the Declaration of Independence, the letter of the law, and the spirit of the law, and stop listening and believing these political appointees in the Pentagon and all of their orders that come down. So by time all this shit trickles down, you've got lieutenants and second lieutenants and captains and majors who have been brainwashed. That's if they go to West Point. You got a lot of them come out of college, go through OCS, etc. They're still getting fucking brainwashed. I'm not happy with the leadership. I'm not happy with the leadership. Holy shit, Davey D checks in, and I'm in trouble now. Zero Dark 30 is going to be painful.
The chat jumped on me here. I just wanted to drop in here. Steve Kelly said Inauguration Day is always the 20th. I thought it was always a fixed day as well, but
I thought so as well. It's the 20th. For some reason, sometimes I think it's the 21st, and I don't know why I say that. But Steve Kelly put his face up there. Well, actually, you put him up there on the screen. He's got two names there. Semper Fi to you, not being afraid to put your real picture there in your thing there, man. That's impressive. Your name in your face. You know what that means. And by the way, I'm pouring this scotch for that for the other one.
For Davey D.
Davey D checks in. He checks in just about every fucking week. Davey D with a 5762. That's a $50 super chat and a 7.62 millimeter full metal jacket. And down the hatch first. I'm big fucking trouble now.
Hey, this is a fairly light night for the troublemakers.
I have a light night in my ass. He says, my comment being blocked. What? But all about ammunition when you absolutely, positively got to get every fucker in the room. Am I saying that right? That's the way I'm reading it. Dave, if you want to expand on that, I'll look for it. But all about ammo. When you absolutely, positively. That was from a TV commercial. When you FedEx, when you absolutely, positively got to get it there on time. Well, anyways, Davey D, you're the man. Semper Fi. Thank you. Woo!
Oh boy.
I've got another dozens of stuff to do. I mean, I've got dozens of things we haven't.
Wait, before you got dozens of things you have to do, you're going to have to do one more.
I tell you what, man, every week I go to bed with a smile on my face and I wake up with a fucking headache. Okay. Mr. Erickson, sometimes Dan doesn't do the 50. He does a bunch of 10s and 5s, but he's like, I had to buy more ammo this week. Apparently, he's ammoed up again because I am gonna be fucking schnockered.
Oh boy!
I know what I have for dinner. I've got a bunch of enchiladas for dinner, making my head itch, man. My brain. Tell you what,
I gotta look in the freezer see if I got any like Gino's pizza rolls left for dinner. I just squeaked in here after replacing the engine of my son's car, and then I didn't even think about it. And now Dan brought all the troublemakers out.
That'll fucking teach you. Well, you
take your shot. I'm not getting paid for this.
Oh man. Oh man. Tell you what, as fucked up as I am, I'm not going to make any claims. God bless you, Dan. Thank you for all your great support, brother. And Uman and Chin and every fucking buddy. Semper Fi.
Damn it, Yankee. Damn it, Blue Court.
Who called me? Wait, who's a Yankee? Ah! Are you? What the hell? You know, I can't see any of this stuff.
Oh, and you're not done yet.
No.
Tomorrow may need to be a personal day.
You guys, you don't understand that I will honor my commitment to obey the super chats. Okay, we made it to the 762. We made it to this 76 Blue Cord Devil. Ooh man, you said light night here. Have another shot. Ooh man said it, man. Not me.
I didn't say nothing.
What?
Oh wait, maybe I did say it's been kind of a light night, but you were complaining about feeling buzzed.
You said it.
I'll take it out of my paycheck.
Heidi's gonna send a message as always. Hope you have a good night.
You can deduct it from my paycheck. Oh, God.
It's still so good. It's so good. It just tastes like it's heavenly.
John, just be forewarned, it's going to be a 0 dark noon tomorrow.
I'm not kidding. I'm fine. So, you guys remember it? I love you all. I know that you're doing this with love and affection and care. And some people, they become mean when they're inebriated. I am a nice guy. I'm friendly. Unless I'm attacked. Oliver.
Yes. You are being attacked with scotch tonight.
Yankee Watchdog. Appreciate it, man. Oh, yeah. That guy from remember the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark? Got it. Yes. It came to me. Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Indiana Jones goes to get his girl and she's doing a drinking contest with that big giant fat guy. And they do shots back and forth. And the guy, like, they each have to drink and people are you know what I'm talking about? That scene where they're in the thing and I'm trying to buy time, but this fucking the last 3 are hitting me.
You're not done.
You're fucking kidding me. You can be hospitalized for this. Thank God you people. I'm 280 pounds, so I can hold a lot of liquor. Just not this fast.
Yeah, they all want to wait till the end to mess you up.
Oh, God, I feel like Peter O'Toole. Ah! Holy shit. Woo! Yankee, thank you much. Remember the guy who just fell out of a fucking chair? You haven't sent a super chat in a while. Good night, Johnny boy. Did he do another one already?
No, that was
the one that I just did.
No, that was the one you just did.
Oh, this is
Phil, who's been with us for a while here, says best show ever was when John and Uman could not even talk anymore, and Mom was mad at him. But the greatest show ever. That marathon was, I don't even remember. I had to go back and watch the show the next day to remember what we talked about.
This was the 3 hour and 45-minute one.
Yeah.
I know that we did that. That was a record. That's what I know. Okay. Look. Oh man, I'm telling you. Northern Pike, $57. I know this is another super duper super chat. Hope to see those red eyes in 0 dark 30. Look,
God.
I just got to say this. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. Okay.
All right. I'm officially calling everybody off. Please, okay. please, no more super chats.
No more. We need to be done here. We need to be done or I'm going to fall out of the fucking chair.
But we still have 4 more to go.
Did you say 4?
I said we have 4 more super chats to go, yeah.
I'm going to throw up. I can't do it.
Well, they're not all drinking donations, so.
Okay, this.
I have not seen it hit you this hard, this fast, ever.
We're doing shot after shot after shot, brother.
Your fans are trying to kill you.
Oh. I can't do it anymore. It's.
Well, let's get through these last ones really quick before they get any more bad ideas.
We're gonna have to hold them over from here. Oh God, the cigar to bear. Okay.
They're an ERP, and then we got
Orlando
with another $2 super chat, and he says, "John, are you seeing sounds yet?"
Yeah. I don't even have witty response now.
Okay, and then Chelsea comes back and says, "Here's $4.99 for a shot of water."
Okay, head, holding the head in place. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're done. Everyone.
Okay. Well, let's just do this. You're going to have to hold one over for. You're going to have to start out tomorrow's live stream with a shot.
Is that fair? Okay.
Well, I'm making a new rule, so it's fair.
Okay.
But Blue Cord wanted to shout out and say, "Let us remember my beautiful wife that passed yesterday 1 year ago. And we will toast her first thing on the show tomorrow afternoon."
Blue Cord. Condolences, brother. Oof. Yes, please. Let's do that. Let's. All right.
And now would probably be the ideal time to end it quickly before we have any more troublemakers chiming in.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I'm fucking fuck.
Well, you know when you're using the word fuck as a adjective, a noun, and a verb.
Things are getting spinny.
Oh, apparently Blue Cord is going to make you do 2 shots at the beginning of the show tomorrow because he just sent another $50 super chat.
Oh my God.
Blue Cord, he owes you 2 on the live stream tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you're there. On behalf of John, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we're going to end this show really quickly here. Semper Fi, be safe. What is the thing? The food, water, shelter, clothing.
Yes.
And a plan.